Well, I'm from Pure Value. My name is Bram van Schijndel, and I'm here together with NeoGrid. And as Pure Value, we will not present ourselves, but Ben Boone from Delhaize will present today a showcase that we were filming last week. So you are in a quite privileged position because we just saw it last night, and now it could be a true innovation or game changer in promotion level, but also in the retail industry, we believe. So it's a pleasure that Ben will take off and tell us his vision on the concept that we have created.
Very rapidly, who am I? My name is Ben Boone. I work at Delhaize, Belgium. Since 9 years. I'm 38 years old. I have 2 children. I work in supply chain, but I actually don't have a supply chain background. I am a forestry engineer with a degree also in culinary arts, which explains a bit of my interest in sustainability, which has remained. I'm interested in a lot of things, and I also go for results. So rapidly, Delhaize Belgium, which you might not know, Delhaize Belgium is a Belgian retailer. We are part of the Ahold Delhaize group since July last year. So in total, the group makes a revenue of a bit more than 50 billion euros per year, most of it in the States. Delhaize Belgium itself is present in Belgium with sales of 5 billion, approximately 780 stores. We're a retailer. We're focused as a retailer on sustainability, health. We give a large assortment, and we have shops for all needs. So we have small petrol stations from 200 square meters until supermarket format of approximately 1,500 to 2,000 square meters. What are the supply chain challenges that we face and will be facing in the coming years? First of all, there is the growth of our store portfolio will mostly come from small and smallest stores, no longer coming from the supermarket format where the market is saturated. We have, as all of us, increasing pressure on costs, asset optimization, and from consumer perspective, we have the need for a wider assortment, and we have more pressure also coming from consumers on sustainability. What is the vision from a supply chain point of view that we want to have? So on the core requirements, what we would like to have is to have end-to-end cost efficiency. So from our suppliers, in our DCs, in our transport, and in our stores, where half of the supply chain costs are created actually inside the stores. Because we're growing historically, we used to have a lot of supermarket formats, and our supply chain has been built specifically for these supermarkets. But what we want to do in the future is more move towards a service adapted to the store formats. So that's what we call the average service. And then the third one is that our capacity should be in line with the demand that is required by the customers. And all of this should happen while reducing the environmental impact of Delhaize. Some key strategic intents. So our suppliers, we want to move a lot more into integrated data forecasting, giving them a lot more point of sales data that they can use for their production planning so that we can smoothen the supply chain. On inbound, we want to consolidate suppliers and also do more co-location of suppliers next to our DCs. In our DC network, Belgium is a very small country, so regional DCs are not very useful. So we have a national DC network in which we are heavily automating. We're implementing mechanized DCs for about 60% of our volumes. In our stores, we want to increase the efficiency, the store friendliness, and move a lot more to integrated forecasting. And our customer, we want to improve the customer satisfaction, the freshness, because of our focus on fresh, and the on-shelf availability. Why are we here for co-creation? I will first start with an example that we did a couple of years ago that showed the limits of the current model. What we actually did is we got a demand from our stores that they wanted the second placement displays to be a lot more efficient. And so they wanted something to have on wheels. They also wanted it safer. They didn't want staples. They didn't want glue. And so we took this demand from the stores. And as Delhaize, we defined a new solution. We updated our guidelines, making it impossible for suppliers to use staples. We implemented a mono-supplier display on wheels, which we then, as Delhaize, imposed on our suppliers. And the result was actually, we implemented it, but it took a lot of time to convince the suppliers to onboard them and to bring them in this situation. And secondly, the solution that we had was still suboptimal. We were still faced with a solution where the suppliers defined the fact that it was made of cardboard, and we still had a solution where it was difficult to measure how effective and efficient the solution really was working. So then we got via Pure Value the opportunity to cooperate in a co-creation where different retailers, different producers, co-packers, we came together, and what we did actually, we started again from this same second placement displays, and we looked at what can we do, what can we have as a shared vision, what can we have as a shared ambition. And so we defined a number of attributes in different groups that were important to all of us. Some of them are important only for people that do the co-packing, which is the efficiency of creating a display. Some of them are important only for the retailers, which is the efficiency in the rest of the supply chain and in the stores. And previously, all of us were all working on our own suboptimal solution, which in the end satisfied nobody. And based on this co-creation, what we did is we defined a value effort matrix, out of which 3 main elements were chosen. The first one was the best practice sharing, which is something that we could set up. The second one was to have a display, an intelligent display with geolocation so that you can define the effectiveness of the sales. And the third one was to have a reusable modular display. Then what we did, the solution, what we asked for was to create a second placement which reflected the market needs. So we asked, as a whole, the suppliers, co-packers, retailers, we asked for 5 things. We asked for something that was flexible and reusable. Flexible because it needs to fit in every product type. Reusable because of the sustainability. We asked for a strong reduction in the quantity of cardboard that was needed. We asked for something that was efficient all along the chain, so efficient for the people making the display, but also efficient in the warehouse, in the store, and in the reverse flow. We wanted something that was effective, so we wanted something where you could actually measure the impact of a promotional display. And the last one is we asked for something where the Internet of Things was present in the chain. And so the solution we came up with was the showcase of the Proteus display. Yeah, because it was playing. What we see as current problems with the displays on the shop floor is that it's labor inefficient, and so it takes a lot of time for the people, that it's non-sustainable because it uses a lot of cardboard. And we have an issue that actually we don't know how efficient and effective a display has been.
Parfois, vous avez des displays qui étaient trop chargés par rapport à la capacité.
Andere nadeel is dat als er water komt onderaan die displays, dan zakken die displays weg. Kun je vervolgens ook helemaal afbreken.
De volgende uitdaging komt er op het moment dat je die display gaat leegmaken. En dan zit je daar letterlijk met een berg afval die ook niet 1, 2, 3 uit elkaar gehaald is.
Dat zijn de meest voorkomende nadelen van de displays heden vandaag.
What we experience is the long lead times with changing layouts of design, for example. And there is the complex return logistics of these cardboard boxes.
We try to make our displays as beautiful as possible, but we also have heavy products, so we don't put a lot of volume on one display, so we need a lot of carton just to build the display and make it as high as possible.
We come up with like more than 20 new products this year, and we cannot afford to make a new display for every new launch. So we were constantly looking for new developments in displays.
Traditional displays in the end is our way to attract more shoppers. So we are now really looking for new solutions to make a display that looks nice, but that is also better for the environment.
The secret to success is the cooperation within the supply chain. We shared all our concerns coming from display builders, coming from poolers, coming from suppliers, coming from retailers like Delhaize, and then together, jointly, we defined a solution.
The key difference is the idea of having pure value as third party in between. And it's amazing to see that in a few months' time you go from an idea to a showcase, and I'm truly impressed by that.
Delhaize offers a win-win solution for everyone.
It has grown out of a need from the retailers on one side and problems from the suppliers on the other side.
It creates less waste, and we can simplify our repacking process. It also, for the retailer, it's a very good solution, and it's less waste for them as well.
I saw the potential as of the start in the sense that it's answering a need from consumers, from suppliers, from retailers. Really a standard solution, flexible.
Key is sustainability, but next to that is the speed of handling. So how quick can we change from one layout to another layout? And with this new concept we can do that.
In een wereld waar marges onder druk staan en efficiëntie alleen maar belangrijker wordt, sta ik er enorm positief tegenover.
Het eerste grote voordeel wat je opvalt is dat ze mobiel zijn, hè. Ze zijn verrijbaar.
Nu zie ik een modelletje op wieltjes, komt van de vrachtwagen op de loskade gereden. Ik rijd de winkel in, die karton, die perverpakking eraf en ik ben aan het verkopen.
Het andere grote voordeel is dat hij oogt als een echte kartonnen display, hè. Impuls, snel. Nou, dat doet hij heel goed, dus cosmetisch ziet er als een ouderwetse display uit, om het zo te zeggen.
Dus ik zie er alleen maar voordelen in, want mijn handelingskost gaat dalen.
L'avantage sur le display, c'est que justement on peut de un réemployer le display, donc question d'écologie, et pas autant de carton que l'on jette dans les presses à carton.
Benefits I see is the fact that we're standardizing. Also the fact that it is reusable is really a reason why it will be for sure an asset for the whole supply chain to use it.
The returnable display will be transported and reused again, so we don't create extra movement.
There is also a next step to this development. We can get key intelligence from the shop floor.
So when are the peak moments on a day in a shop? Is it really placed on a good spot in store?
How do you see the added value of a display versus what you sell on a shelf? You know, because in the end, you sell typically the same product. And yes, it looks nicer, but does it really sell more?
Because at the moment, to be honest, we have no clue whether a promotion is working fine or not.
If we could get that data directly from the shop floor, that would help us in improving our supply chain and making that supply chain even more sustainable as well.
Our dream is, of course, to limit our impact on the environment as much as possible.
In every aspect of our business, we are always working on more and greener solutions.
So any system that could further bring us to reducing waste, to reducing CO2 emission would be an asset for us as a company.
My dream would be that within 18 months we have replaced all the current cardboard by Delhaize display, that we have something to measure the effectiveness of the display and that we get it implemented without any frustration, without any negative reaction. So that was the movie on the showcase. What we still see as next steps, one more slide, Bram, sorry, is we have this pilot, we have this showcase, so we will evaluate it, and then next to it there is really going to market, and there we want, again, go into this co-creation process, that the market together defines a frustration-free implementation of this Delhaize display. And then one aspect that we haven't looked at for the moment, a lot in detail is on looking on this Internet of Things, bringing in measurements, which is something that we really also want to do. We have now focused the showcase on the physical movements, the reusability, the impact on the sustainability, and the next thing is going into this data mining aspect. Okay, thank you.